I get it. You scroll through endless listings where every laptop looks like a glossy billboard, only to end up with a machine that feels sluggish when you actually try to edit a 4K video or launch a game. That disappointment is what makes me pause before I click buy now, and it's the exact reason I'm breaking this review down for you today. I've spent the last few weeks comparing a handful of high-end 15-inch work-and-play laptops, digging through user forums, and testing a few side-by-side with the ZenBook Pro. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the ZenBook Pro 15 isn't trying to be a budget-friendly option. It's positioned as a premium ultrabook that can also handle a bit of gaming and serious content creation. That dual-purpose claim is where the real buyer hesitation lives. You either need raw computational muscle for professional workloads, or you need a portable gaming rig, but rarely both at the same time. The question is whether this particular model actually delivers on that promise without forcing you into compromises you didn't sign up for. The most obvious selling point is the 15.6-inch UHD 4K touch panel. In real-world testing, the factory-calibrated color accuracy held up when I opened Photoshop and compared a RAW file against a reference monitor. Shades stayed true, and the high pixel density made fine detail work easier than on a typical 1080p display. That makes it a strong candidate for photographers or video editors who need to see every nuance while on the go. However, the 4K panel also draws a lot of power. When I put the laptop on battery and ran a simple 1080p YouTube stream, I got roughly 3.5 hours of life. Push it to a 4K editing session, and the battery dropped below 20% in just over an hour. So, if you plan on working unplugged for half a day, you'll likely need to tether the device to power or carry a spare charger. Inside, the 8th Gen Intel Core i9-8950HK paired with 16GB of DDR4 RAM feels fast enough to handle demanding multitasking. Opening a couple of IDs, a browser cluttered with research tabs, and a Photoshop document all at once didn't result in noticeable lag. The turbo boost hitting 4.8 GHz is more of a theoretical ceiling. Under sustained load the CPU settles around 3.5 to 4 GHz, which is still respectable for video rendering or compiling code. The real bottleneck shows up when you throw a modern title that leans heavily on the GPU. The GTX 1050 while decent for an ultra-thin chassis, struggles with newer AAA games at anything higher than low-medium settings. In my quick test of Cyberpunk 2077 at 1080p, the frame rate hovered around 30 frames per second, and the laptop quickly warmed up, throttling performance after about 15 minutes. If you're looking for a primary gaming machine, you'll be disappointed. The ZenBook is better suited for casual or indie titles, or as a secondary device for occasional play. One of the claims you'll see repeated in marketing copy is the adaptive screen pad. This secondary touch surface can act as a customizable shortcut bar, a drawing canvas, or a media control panel. After spending a day wiring it up for my workflow, I found it genuinely useful when I was editing photo batches. I could assign undo, zoom, and rotate to the screen pad and keep my main fingers on the keyboard, shaving seconds off repetitive actions. The downside is that the screen pad software sometimes feels clunky, and it takes a few minutes of configuration before it settles into a rhythm that doesn't interfere with the primary display. For users who don't need that extra layer of control, it's essentially deadweight that adds cost without providing added value. Thermal performance is another practical consideration. The ZenBook's slim chassis means there's limited space for heat dissipation. Under heavy workloads like rendering a 10-minute 4K video, the fans spin up aggressively, producing an audible whine that can be distracting in a quiet environment. The laptop does stay within safe temperature thresholds, but you'll notice the heat radiating from the keyboard quickly. If you plan to use it on your lap for extended periods, consider a cooling pad, otherwise, you'll feel the device getting warm under your palms. Now, who should actually buy this model? If you're a creative professional who values a gorgeous, color-accurate 4K display and needs a portable workstation that can run Photoshop, Premiere, and Lightroom without skipping a beat, the ZenBook Pro 15 hits many of those marks. The combination of a strong CPU, fast PCIe SSD, and a high-resolution screen makes it a solid daily driver for content creation. It also appeals to students in design or architecture programs who need to present high-quality visuals in class. On the other hand, if your primary focus is gaming, or if you need a laptop that can power through long gaming sessions without throttling, you'll find the GTX 1050 limiting. Likewise, if you travel constantly and rely on long battery life, the 4K panel's power draw will make you reach for the charger more often than you'd like. In terms of value, the ZenBook Pro 15's price is anchored to